Welcome back to the Max or Dash podcast. Thank you for listening, liking, and now watching. I am your host, Steve, back with my co-host, Nate. We got a fun one today. I also didn't mention this is the number one personal finance podcast in the entire world.
And that you should do what if you're watching right now?
And if you're watching, I got to add that. Please subscribe. I say this every single time. About 80% of the people watching this video right now are not subscribed. So click that subscribe button, click the like button. You'll get notified whenever we post anything. It's going to help us grow. So we really appreciate it. We're going to keep bugging you about it. But today's episode is one of our most important topics, probably. And it's about the Max or Dash, the sign behind us. We've done one before, but we're going to keep this one really short and sweet. Do a little spin on it. Nate's got some good stuff to talk about today. But before we get into it, let's do some Max or Dash moments for ourselves.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So last episode, I shared a pretty big Max or Dash moment. I bought my first ever hunting property, which has been a life goal going back like 15, 20 years. Something that's been really cool as a result of that, my uncle, Warren, who's a hero to me in my life, has been up a lot helping on the weekends and stuff with doing chores at the property. And it's been really fun, him and I doing that together and having a beer afterwards and just loving life. It's been amazing.
Can I meet Uncle Warren?
Yeah, you got to meet Uncle Warren.
Would he like me?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, you think?
He likes everybody.
All right, cool. Yeah, you do talk about him a lot. You got some good stories about Uncle Warren.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Love that. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of Max or Dash moments on that property.
That's for sure.
It's huge. Mine, I know last time I said that it was my me and my buddy's birthday, so we got to hang out, but I don't know why when I was thinking about it, I forgot about this one, but we all got to hang out on Saturday. Mm-hmm. All the guys from Dash minus Adam were there.
Adam.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. It's always so much fun when we all get together, dude. It's like, I can't explain it because everyone's always like so busy now with everyone's got a family. So it's like hard to get everyone together. But when we do successfully, it's special.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It is. And this ties in to exactly what we want to talk about today. But it's funny, when I think about maxing your Dash and like living the best life possible, I always think about creating moments or memories. Mm-hmm. And when you think about moments or memories where you were your happiest, when were you like not with somebody you care about?
Exactly.
Like that's such an important part of the formula. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I love that. It makes sense. Like the one I shared, it was spending time with my uncle. It's like, it's always comes back to your most important relationships and intentionally spending more time with those people.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to get into this, but a Max or Dash moment is a time that you felt true fulfillment and joy and just thinking about what were you doing at that time, because those are the moments in life that matter the most. And that's what we try to get our listeners, our clients, people around us to be thinking about more. And we're going to talk about today essentially why that's so important and why that is, like, in our opinion, such an important piece to life. I think a good word that we were talking about yesterday, Nate, and you just said this, is like a lot of this comes down to being more intentional. Mm-hmm. Like we had to be intentional for all of us to get together on that Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. Like now I have a kid, Mark has a kid, Adam's got 2 kids, Matt's got 2 kids. Mm-hmm. As you get older, life gets busier. You have all those new responsibilities you didn't have when you were 24 or whatever. And I think that people in general, they get into their routines and they get very comfortable in their routines and they just have zero like relationship with time. Mm-hmm. Like they don't, most of us just roll through days and weeks doing the same thing over and over again, right? And not intentionally carve out time to go spend time with Steve and for his birthday or whatever. Yeah. Like you had to really champion making that happen. Yeah. You know, like, and that's awesome that you did that. But like also when I think about it, it's like, what am I could I be doing a better job
Right.
thinking about all of my friends that matter a lot to me and me intentionally
Right.
carving out the time to do that?
Right.
Or am I just stuck in my routine? Right. And it's a good routine. Like, I'm a pretty happy person. I think a lot of us who are listening who are also in routines, like, it's not like you're in a bad routine.
Yeah.
But the point of the life is like, what are you doing intentionally to create more memories? And I think that's what we want to get into today is like, how can we raise the level of urgency on doing that?
Well, it first comes down to the most important asset coming from two financial advisors is time.
Yeah.
For sure. That's the reason why you can't just go through the routine. It's not enough to allow those moments to just come and go without you having anything to do with them. You have to be intentional about creating them, or they're not going to happen as often as you want. And life is short.
Yep.
As I'm sure everyone's kind of seen examples of that. But do you have that pulled up? I know we were talking a
Life
little bit about
expectancy?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the best exercise to do to raise your urgency around being more intentional with your time and how you're building your life, I think is you need to have a relationship with time. And I think the best way to do it is to understand how much time you probably have left. And it's sort of a morbid exercise, but we were just joking around before the episode started. Like, I asked Steve, how old are you? Let's go through it again.
I'm 28.
You're 28. And average life expectancy, I was just trying to pull that up. I think it's like 78.
For males.
For women, it's maybe a couple years more than that.
Yeah.
So you're 28. Average life expectancy is 78. So you have how many years left based on that math?
50.
50. Good. You're good at math. I think and this is what we were doing, is how many weeks is that? How many weeks?
Yep. So it's
Pull up the
52.
calculator here.
So is 28
So 50 years
times 52.
times 52 weeks. You have 2,600 weeks left.
So scary.
What are you doing this week to
Yeah.
maximize that?
Then you really start thinking about wasted weeks.
Yeah. Right. And it's not, the point of this is a little bit to, I guess, to guilt you, but it's to raise your urgency, because we just don't see it that way day to day. Again, I think most people are playing life on defense. They're letting their calendars just fill up. They just are stuck in these routines, and they're not even conscious of that fact that you have 2,600 weeks left. And then next week you have 2,599 weeks left. And it's almost like, if you really wanted to take this to a whole nother level, it's like you start tracking how many weeks you have left.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us want to avoid even thinking that way, but that's the problem. Like, if you're not intentional about this and your urgency isn't high, you're not creating enough moments and memories and experiences that you could be doing, you know?
Dude, I feel like the time in life where that usually hits people the most is something has to happen. It's usually someone passing away or something like that, and then you start realizing, like, oh, well,
we think we're invincible, right?
Exactly.
You don't think you're going to die next week.
No. Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not going to happen to me. But it happens every day to people. I mean, what the hell, that crazy submarine story? Like, Jesus. Like, this happens every day to ordinary people. We need to be more intentional and urgent.
Yeah.
Right? And time is undefeated. The only way you're going to beat time is you have to take action. You can't get last week back.
Yeah.
Can't get last month back, last year back. Right? So we have to take action. And I think I have a couple of thoughts I wanted to share today about, like, what to do about this. But I think the first thing is get really in touch with your relationship with time and do the math on it. Another really crazy thing to think about is, like, we broke it down into weeks. Like, break it down into summers. Like, summer in upstate New York is like one of the best times of the year. You have 50 left.
Dude, stop.
And how many of those 50 are you in good health?
That's crazy. Only 50 summers.
Right. Think about it in my standpoint. Like, hunting is a huge part of my life. I've got 45 hunting seasons left, or whatever the math is. Taking another step further. I shared my Max or Dash moment was hunting with my uncle, right? He's 69.
Yeah.
He has 9 hunting seasons left based on average life expectancy. That's a very small number. Now you start to get more urgent, right? And so why this is so important is the next time my uncle calls me or something, like, I'm probably going to take that a little bit more serious. And that's what we're trying to get to in this, is taking your time a lot more seriously.
Yeah.
Stop playing defense. I think that's another big thing is like, we just let Zoom meetings get on our calendars. This person said they want to do this. This person does. And our weeks just get packed with stuff we don't actually want to do. And we're not playing enough offense. Like, when's the next time you're going to hang out with Phil and do something, right? Like, when's the next time I'm going to do something with my dad and my uncle together, right? We need to play offense more.
Dude, the parents example always hit me so hard. I remember the first time that you showed that to me, because that is just crazy, because that is so applicable. Most people probably only see their parents, like, let's just say like 5 times a year maybe.
Right.
And if they're, that might literally only be like they have 10 years left. Like, you're only going to see them 50 more times. Like, you will only see your parents 50 more times. That should, like, that when I first heard that, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That dude, pick up the phone call. That is exactly, that should be the first thing is like.
And it's like it's so easy, to not do it, right? Like, my parents live an hour and 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
They probably can only hang out on like a Sunday or something like that.
Yeah.
And on Sundays, I have stuff I got to do. That's our day to get groceries. That's our day to get caught up around the house or whatever. And so you make all these excuses not to be intentional. And like we're saying, okay, another week down. Yeah. How many weeks does your dad have left? You have 2,600. He's got how many? I don't know. It's sad to think about it that way, but the point is to raise our urgency. We need to be insanely urgent about life, because we cannot get time back. So I think that's like the biggest point we wanted to bring up today, to we want to be short and sweet with this, but we need to play offense with our time, right? We need to be scheduling things in advance or whatever. And I have 3 ideas of things, like actionable things that we should all be doing.
Hit us.
That I want to hit us with, and then we could probably wrap up. So first and foremost, every January, at the start of every year, you should be scheduling out your year of date nights. Here's a good one. My wife has been begging me to take Grayson to the zoo since he was basically born. She cannot wait to take him to the zoo. Like, we don't have that on our calendar. That is so bad on me. Like, here I am preaching this. Like, so at the start of the year, put literally on your calendar when you're doing date nights, when you're taking your kid to the zoo, when you're doing a trip, when you're doing things for yourself. Play offense. Get it on your calendar and honor that like you do everything else that gets thrown on your calendar, right? That is idea number 1. Imagine if for the next 50 years of your life, you did that one thing where you actually map out every single year the things you're doing for you. That's how amazing of a life are you going to live over the next 50 years, right? So that's idea number 1 is you need to intentionally plan your calendars out for the year. And if you've never done this before, you still got 6 months left in the year. Do it now for the rest of the year, right? Don't let, what's going to happen to us all is you're going to get asked to do this or that or whatever, and your weekends fill up really easily. And again, you're playing defense. So take advantage of that opportunity to time block when you're going to do things for yourself. Idea number 1.
Idea number 1.
Check.
Time block in the beginning of the year.
Number 2. I love this. You should have one big year-defining goal every year, right? I should be able to say what I did last year that defined my year, what I did 7 years ago that defined my year, right? So like for me, this year's biggest thing was buying hunting property. That's my year-defining goal. Last year was having our first child, right? Imagine you're 28, right? For the next 50 years, you had a year-defining goal that you tackled. How amazing, how remarkable of a life are you going to live, right? So I think that's a huge opportunity for us. And then the last thing is, I think coming back to we play defense too much. We're stuck in our routines. Like, as humans, we're supposed to be curious, adventurous people, I believe. Like, I think when we try new things, it brings the best out in us. So every other month, you should be doing one thing you wouldn't ever normally do. Like for you, Steve, for example, maybe it's like going fishing. Like you would never do that.
Yeah.
Every other month, do one thing that you wouldn't normally ever do. just to challenge yourself to be curious. Because when we're curious and we're adventurous, I'm telling you right now, it takes your happiness level to a whole nother place. Now imagine, again, you're 28. Let's say you die at 78. 50 years of every other month doing something you wouldn't normally do.
Dude, that's crazy.
What's 50 times 6? 300. That's 300 adventurous things you did. How remarkable of a life is that going to be?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so those 3 things to kind of summarize. Planning your year out in advance of the things you're going to do for you. Date nights, go to the zoo, whatever. Hanging out with friends. Second thing, every year have a year-defining goal, right? You should be able to tell me 7 years ago what that was.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third thing is every other month, do something you wouldn't normally ever do, right? Maybe it's something you've been thinking about wanting to do. You play the piano, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was one of the things for you. So do those 3 things consistently. You're going to live an amazing life.
That is how you live the Max Your Dash life. Mm-hmm. Dude, that is good.
I want our clients to be able to say that they play life on offense.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want.
Probably the most important 15 minutes you're going to listen to for a while. Right?
Maybe.
That's good.
Is that a wrap?
I think that's a wrap. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I got to go.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for listening and watching the Max Your Dash podcast. We will catch you in the next one.
Securities offered through Securities America Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Security America Advisors Inc. Dash Capital Advisors and Securities America are separate entities.